Darling, I'm home. The shelves were no longer empty. Not full, but lived in. Glass caught the light in careful rows, labels steadier now, handwriting more practiced, more certain. The sign outside still leaned slightly to the left. Gail had stopped fixing it. The neighbours knew her name. The regulars didn't ask questions anymore. And the space, once temporary, had settled into something quieter. Something that stayed. The bell above the door chimed. Gail didn't look up immediately. "One moment," she called, carefully finishing the label on the vial in front of her. Her handwriting had improved. Not perfect, but legible. She set the vial aside, wiped her hands on a cloth, and only then turned. Astarion stood in the doorway. Of course he did. "You're late," she said. Astarion stepped inside, closing the door behind him with a soft click. "I prefer to think of it as dramatic timing." Gail huffed a quiet breath. "You're predictable." "And yet," he said, removing his gloves with practiced ease, "you still sound surprised." "I'm tired," she replied. "That's not new." "No," she said. "It's just more consistent." A pause. Astarion's gaze softened slightly as he took her in, hair loosely tied back, sleeves rolled, ink smudged faintly along her wrist. "You've been working too much." Gail leaned back against the table. "I've been working enough." Astarion stepped closer, placing something on the counter between them. A small bundle. Gail glanced down. Flowers. Slightly uneven. Probably not purchased. She raised a brow. "Should I ask where you got those?" Astarion's lips curved. "I prefer not to answer that." Gail smiled despite herself. "They're nice." "I thought so." A beat. She reached out, adjusting them in the small jar near her work table. "They don't match anything in here." "They match you." Gail glanced at him. "That doesn't make sense." "No," he said lightly, "but I stand by it." Silence settled. Not awkward. Just familiar. Gail moved past him, extinguishing one of the lamps. "You missed the rush," she said. "I'm devastated." "You would have hated it." "I would have tolerated it." "That's worse." Astarion watched her as she moved through the space, closing up for the night with small, practiced motions. "You're slower," he said. Gail didn't look at him. "I'm efficient." "That's not the same thing." A pause. She set the last vial in place and finally turned back to him. "I can't stay up until dawn anymore," she said. Astarion tilted his head. "I've noticed." There was no accusation in it. Just fact. Gail crossed the room, stopping in front of him. "I try," she added, quieter now. Astarion's expression softened. "I know." A beat. "You don't have to," he said. "I want to." Silence. Gail reached for his hand. This time. It was automatic. Routine. "I get a few good hours," she continued. "That's enough." Astarion's thumb brushed lightly over her knuckles. "For you, perhaps." Gail smiled faintly. "For us." That stilled him. Astarion looked at her, really looked, and something in his expression shifted, less guarded. "You're very determined," he said. "I have to be." A pause. "Otherwise, I'd start thinking about it too much. And that would be unfortunate." Gail huffed a quiet breath. "Yes." Silence. Lighter. "I made something earlier that didn't explode." Astarion's expression shifted. "That's progress. It might even be edible." I'm less convinced. Gale smiled, reaching for his hand again and tugging him gently toward the back room. You don't get to complain if you're not the one making it. I complain regardless. I know. A pause. Then, quieter, as they moved out of the main shop. I missed you, she said. The words were simple, unadorned. Astarion didn't answer immediately. Then, just as quietly, I know. A beat. Oh, I did as well. No flourish. No deflection. Just truth. The door closed behind them. The shop fell quiet. And the night settled in. Astarion paused just inside the threshold of the back room. Gale turned toward him, already slowing, the weight of the day still lingering in her shoulders. And then stopping completely. He stepped closer. No words this time. Just presence. His hand lifted, gentle, fingers brushing lightly against her cheek, tucking a loose strand of hair back where it belonged. Gale leaned into it without thinking, like she always did. A small breath passed between them. She reached back, pushing the door the rest of the way closed, the soft click of the latch settling into place, not hurried, not hidden. Just theirs. When she turned back, he was already watching her, close enough now that she didn't have to step forward. And didn't. Their eyes met. No performance. No question. Just recognition. This moment. This night. This choice. Again. Astarion's thumb brushed lightly along her cheek. Gale's hand found his, steady, certain. And for a moment, everything else fell away. The city. The expectations. The distance waiting for them at dawn. All of it. Left outside the door. And when he leaned in, she was already there to meet him. Time is a cruel mistress. Time did not arrive all at once. It settled, quietly. In small ways that were easy to ignore, until they weren't. The shop was full now, not crowded, not overwhelming, but lived in. The shelves were steady, the labels clear, the work, hers. People came looking for her. They said her name like it belonged there. And it did. Gale stood behind the counter, one hand braced lightly against the wood as she finished measuring out a tincture. Her hands were steady, just slower. She noticed it. She noticed everything now. The way her joints ached in the mornings. The way her energy came in smaller pieces. The way the day seemed to take more than it used to give back. She set the vial down. Exhaled. And for a moment, just stood there. The bell chimed. Gale didn't look up immediately. She knew who it was. You're early, she said. I'm consistent, Astarion replied. She smiled faintly. You're predictable. Astarion stepped inside, closing the door behind him. Unchanged. Exactly as he had always been. Perfect. Gale's gaze lingered a moment too long this time. He noticed. You're staring. Gale looked away. I'm allowed. Within reason. A beat. She moved around the counter slowly, wiping her hands on a cloth. You brought flowers? She asked. Astarion set them down with practiced ease. Of course. They're excessive. They're appropriate. Silence. Gale didn't reach for them this time. Astarion's brow lifted slightly. That's new. Gale let out a quiet breath. I'm tired. I can see that. And I don't like it. The words came out sharper than she intended. Astarion stilled. Gale turned away, moving toward the table, then stopping halfway. It's not fair, she said. Silence. Astarion didn't interrupt. You don't change, she continued. A beat. You don't get tired, you don't slow down, you don't... She gestured vaguely. Feel this. Astarion's voice, when it came, was quiet. No. Gale laughed, not kindly. Of course not. She turned back to him now, something sharper in her eyes. You could have done something. There it was. Astarion's expression hardened. Gale. You could have changed it, she pressed. You could have. She stopped herself. A pause. Why didn't you? Silence fell. Heavy. Astarion stepped forward slowly. You know why. No, she said. I know what you've told me. A beat. I want to know if that's still the reason. Astarion's jaw tightened. It is. Even now? Yes. Gale's hands curled at her sides. I'm running out of time. The words broke. Just slightly. And you just... She exhaled, shaking her head. Stay the same. Astarion's voice sharpened. You think I wanted this? Gale flinched. I didn't choose this, he continued. I didn't ask for it. I didn't wake up one day and decide I wanted to watch everyone I care about disappear while I remain exactly the same. Each word controlled, but barely. You think this is a gift, he said. Silence. It's a curse, he added, quieter now, and I would never give it to you. Astarion's gaze dropped for a moment, not avoiding her, remembering. It's not just the time, he said. A pause. It's the hunger. Gale stilled. It doesn't go away, he continued. It doesn't get easier. You learn to manage it, to hide it, to pretend it's not there, but it is. Always. His voice lowered. A constant ache. A need that doesn't care who you are or what you want. A beat. You think I'd ask you to live like that? Silence. And the sun, he added almost bitterly. You don't notice it now. You take it for granted. The warmth, the light, the way it feels on your skin. His jaw tightened slightly. You don't get that anymore. Gale's breath caught. Ever. A pause. No mornings, he said. No standing in the light. No choosing when you exist in the world. The words settled. And even if you learn to survive it, he continued, quieter now, the world doesn't forget what you are. Astarion glanced at her. They look at you differently, he said. Fear, disgust, curiosity, never trust, never ease. A beat. You become something unnatural to them. Silence stretched. And you think I would take you, he finished, and turn you into something that has to fight just to be tolerated? Gale didn't answer. She couldn't. Astarion's voice softened, just slightly. I didn't choose this, he said. A pause. I wouldn't choose it for you. Gale's voice dropped. So you decided for me. Astarion stilled. I chose not to destroy you, he said. Gale shook her head. You chose to let me fade instead. That hit. Astarion didn't answer immediately. Because that part was also true. Silence stretched. Then Gale's voice cracked. I'm scared. Gale let out a slow, unsteady breath. I'm sorry, she said. The words came quieter this time. I shouldn't have said that, she continued. Not like that, not to you. A beat. Her gaze dropped just for a moment. I know what you've been through, she said. I know this wasn't something you chose, and I know. Her voice caught slightly. I know you've already lost more than anyone should have to. Silence. I didn't mean it the way it sounded, she added. I'm not angry at you. A pause. I'm angry at this, she said, gesturing faintly. Her body, the time, the space between them that was growing whether she wanted it to or not. At what's happening to me. At what I can't stop. Her voice softened. And I took that out on you. She looked back up at him then. That wasn't fair. A beat. I know you didn't turn me because you care about me, she said. Because you didn't want me to go through what you did. Her expression steadied. And I know how much that must have cost you to decide. Silence. I'm just... She exhaled softly. I'm scared of losing everything at once. A pause. And I don't want to lose you too. There it was. The truth. Raw. Astarion stilled. Then stepped closer immediately. You're not, he said. Firm. Certain. Gale blinked. You don't get to decide that, she said, a flicker of frustration returning. I can see it. I can feel it. I'm not... She stopped herself. A pause. You're going to leave, she said quietly. One day you're going to look at me and realize I'm not what I was, and you'll... Astarion's expression shifted, sharper now, something almost offended in it. I'm not going anywhere, he said. The words cut clean. Gale stilled. A beat. That's not what I meant, she said. Her voice softened. I'm the one who's going, she added. And there it was. The truth underneath the fear. Astarion's anger faded just as quickly as it had risen, replaced with something quieter, something heavier. Yes, he said. Not harsh. Not dismissive. Just honest. Gale closed her eyes. I hate it, she whispered. Astarion stepped closer again, more careful now. I know. A pause. You think I'm not angry? He said. You think I'm not furious that this is how it ends? That I get all the time in the world and none of it matters because you're not in it? His voice dropped. You are my world. Gale's breath caught. And I don't get to keep you. Silence. Heavy. Real. Astarion reached for her, slower this time, like she might break. But she didn't pull away. Then don't waste it, he said. The words landed softly. Familiar. A callback. Gale blinked. That's what you told me, he continued. The first night, when I thought I had more time than I knew what to do with. A pause. And you were right. His hand settled gently at her cheek. You're still here, he said. A beat. So stop acting like you're already gone. Silence. Gail's breath caught. Then, slowly, she leaned into his hand. The anger didn't vanish. The fear didn't disappear. But something steadier settled beneath it. I hate you sometimes, she said softly. Astarion huffed a quiet breath. That seems fair. A beat. I love you, she added. Astarion didn't hesitate this time. I know. A pause. I love you too. And this time, neither of them tried to soften what that meant. Astarion smirked and held out his hand. Come, darling, he said. We're going on an adventure. The air was cooler on the rooftops. Cleaner. Gail hadn't been up here in years. Not like this. Not running, not laughing, not alive in it. You're going to regret this, Astarion said lightly as he vaulted up ahead of her, landing with effortless grace on the next stretch of stone. Gail followed. Less graceful, a little slower, but determined. I regret everything, she called back. This will just be one more thing on the list. Astarion laughed. That's the spirit. She made the jump, just barely, and caught herself with a hand against the ledge, breath coming a little faster than she wanted it to. Astarion turned immediately. You're slowing down. I'm pacing myself, she shot back. That's not the same. It is tonight. A beat. Then she straightened and smiled. Try to keep up. Astarion blinked. Then grinned. Oh, that was a mistake. She took off before he could answer. Not as fast as she used to be. Not as light. But still, herself. The city stretched beneath them, lantern light and shadow weaving together as they moved, roof to roof, edge to edge, the world distant and irrelevant for just a little while. Gail laughed. Breathless. Real. And when Astarion caught up to her, it wasn't to slow her down. It was to match her, to stay beside her. They stopped at the highest point they could reach, the city opening wide beneath them. For a moment, they just stood there. Gail's breath steadied slowly. I used to think I had to be perfect to deserve this, she said. Astarion glanced at her. And now? She smiled faintly. Now I think I just had to stop waiting. A pause. Astarion stepped closer. You're still remarkable, you know. Gail huffed softly. I'm older. Yes. I'm slower. Occasionally. She turned to him. That's not reassuring. Astarion's expression softened. It's not meant to be. A beat. It's meant to be honest. His hand lifted, brushing lightly along her arm, grounding, familiar. You're still you, he said. Gail held his gaze. And that's enough? Astarion didn't hesitate. It always was. Silence settled between them. Not empty. Full. Gail stepped closer. This time, there was no hesitation. No doubt. Just choice. Her hands found him first, steady, certain, like she knew exactly where she belonged. Astarion's breath shifted just slightly as she drew him in. "You still look at me like that," she said softly. "Like what?" Gale smiled. "Like I'm something you want." Astarion's lips curved. "That hasn't changed." A beat. "And it's not going to." Something in her expression softened. Relief, disbelief, something deeper. Then she kissed him. Not careful. Not uncertain. Certain. Alive. Astarion responded immediately, pulling her closer. Not fragile, not hesitant. Like she was something to hold on to, not protect from. The world fell away again. Not because it didn't matter, but because for this moment, they chose each other anyway. When they finally broke apart, Gale laughed softly against him, breathless. "I'm going to feel this tomorrow," she said. Astarion smirked faintly. "I'll consider it a success." Gale shook her head, still smiling. "Stay with me tonight." A beat. Astarion's gaze held hers. "I always do." And for once, that was enough. "Where the night remains." She was older now. The room was dim. Soft. Filled with the life she had built. Shelves lined with glass and memory, the faint scent of herbs lingering in the air like something that refused to fade. Astarion sat beside her. Still. Unchanged. As he always had been, Gale watched him. Not with surprise. Not with longing. But with something quieter. Knowing. "You're still beautiful," she murmured. Astarion exhaled softly. "That seems unfair." She smiled. "I don't mind." A pause settled between them. Not empty. Full of everything they had already said. "You stayed," she said again. This time, not questioning. Grateful. Astarion didn't answer immediately. Then, quietly. "I said I would." She huffed a soft breath. "You didn't." A beat. "I didn't say I wouldn't." A faint smile touched her lips. Her hand shifted slightly against the blanket. He took it. Carefully. Like something fragile. Something worth protecting. Gale's fingers curled weakly around his. "You always bring flowers," she said, her voice softer now. Astarion glanced toward the small arrangement at her bedside. "They suit the room." "They suit you," she corrected faintly. A pause. He leaned forward then. Slowly, deliberately. Pressing a gentle kiss to her forehead. Not hurried. Not desperate. Reverent. Gale closed her eyes briefly, leaning into it. "You still do that," she murmured. Astarion's lips curved faintly. Some habits are difficult to break. A beat. She opened her eyes again, studying him like she had so many times before. "You never stopped looking at me like that," she said. "Like what?" Gale smiled. "Like I'm something you want." Astarion didn't hesitate. "You always are?" Her breath caught. Just slightly. Then steadied. "I'm tired," she said. "I know." A pause. Stay, she added. Asterian's thumb brushed lightly across her hand. I'm here. And he was. He remained beside her as the room grew quieter. As her breath slowed. As the space between moments stretched longer and longer. Until... It didn't come again. Silence followed. Not sudden. Not cruel. Just... there. Astarion didn't move. He had feared silence once, feared what it meant when there was no one left to fill it. But this was different. He sat within it, and did not leave. He leaned forward once more, pressing a final soft kiss to her temple. Good night, Gale, he said quietly. After the silence. The shop remained. Not untouched. But remembered. The sign still leaned slightly to the left. He didn't fix it. He never did. The grave was simple. Stone. Name. Nothing excessive. She wouldn't have wanted that. But the flowers, those changed. Every night. Astarion returned as the sun slipped away, the world dimming into something he could exist within. He brought what he could find. Sometimes perfect. Sometimes not. It didn't matter. He set them down carefully, adjusting them with the same quiet precision he had used all those years before. Then he stayed, not always speaking, not always needing to. You would hate how uneven these are, he murmured one evening. A pause. But I think you'd keep them anyway. Silence answered him, but it wasn't empty. It never was. Astarion sat back slightly, gaze drifting upward as the night settled around him. The same sky. The same stars. The same world they had shared, for as long as it had been allowed. You were right, he said quietly. A beat. For tonight. The words lingered, then softened. And the night, as it always did, remained.
There's a world you're meant to follow. There's a line you never cross. There's a spark you shouldn't swallow. There's a cost.
They say the night belongs to rules, to quiet steps and careful moves, to never want what you can't keep, to never wake what should stay asleep.
I've seen this dance 1,000 times, all polished smiles and practiced lines. You shine like something safe and bright, something easy to rewrite. You look at me like I'm the risk you shouldn't take. You shine like rules I want to break. Two worlds colliding, borrowed light. One step wrong, one step right.
You see danger, I see escape.
You smile like trouble I can take.
Two worlds, one spark, just for a moment. Two hearts playing roles they don't fit. You reach for something you can't control.
I reach for something play it smooth, you play it clean, like nothing ever cuts between. But I can see the cracks you hide. You're not the only one who lies. You look at me like I'm the risk you shouldn't take. You smile like trouble I can't break. Two worlds collide in borrowed light. One step wrong, one step right. You see danger, I see escape. You shine like rules I wanna break. Two worlds, one spark, just for a moment. Two hearts moving out of script. You reach for something you can't control. I reach for something I won't resist. This isn't where I'm meant to be. This is exactly where you should be. If I step forward, I don't return. Then take the step and let it burn. Two worlds collide and start to shake. Every rule we're about to break.